live, so just so everyone's aware. Someone make the tweet, though, that says that Razzle finally got here. We were finally able to start. Can someone do that for me?
Alright, cool. I think we have it on the official channel, so I'll just retweet that.
Okay, perfect. We're live. We're live. We made it. Are we actually on episode 43?
I think so.
We actually made it to episode 43.
Wow, we're almost up to 50. That's depressing.
That's
When do we
absurd.
start the next season?
That's upsetting.
We've done 43 episodes of this. Thank you guys so much for sitting through 42 of them. I promise this one will be good. I'm joined on the panel with Kelsey
Bold.
Moser. Bold. The score, Drexen, Esports Heaven, Razzleplasm. Raz, how do you ever want me to introduce you? Do you want me to just say like the teams that you work for or anything like that?
Just say analyst for the Chiefs, I suppose.
Analyst for the Oceanic team, the Chiefs. The best
And the
Oceanic team.
And the LSPL junkie.
And the LSPL Junkie. I'm Froskurinn, I'm your host, and we have a very special episode of China Talk. Now, what makes this episode so special? Well, you will find out later. But first, we're going to talk about rosters. So, obviously, we're in the off-season. We just had our MSI episode. I believe Emily subbed in for me, which, thank you. She does a fantastic job every single time. Kelsey, I had your camera perfect. Stop messing with it. Continuing. We have the MSI victory of EDG, and now we're in this off-season period where the roster rumors are running crazy. Now, the most important thing to recognize with Chinese roster rumors is that they're never true. They're almost never true. You'll hear a ton of crazy stuff. Nothing will ever be confirmed until the very last second. But we're going to talk about what we know for sure has been confirmed, what we think is going to be confirmed, and then what we wish would happen. Is everyone cool with that? Oh, we're also going to have a Ninja section, because everyone apparently wants to talk about Ninja, finally. Even though we've been talking about him for the last, 42 episodes of the show.
And I thought the most hype move was going to be Dada. Such sadness.
Let's actually open this up. Let's talk about Ninja, because I feel like that's kind of where our core, I want to say Western audience, actually cares now. It's because he's going to be the mid laner for Team Dragon Knights, which Alexish boosted into the LCS. I'm kidding. Alexish subbed for them. They got up into the LCS. They've looked really good in the Challenger scene. I know that I follow the North American Challenger scene. I don't know if you guys follow them. Anything?
She follows the North American Challenger scene more than the North American LCS.
This is actually accurate.
Yeah, it is, actually.
You want to know about Challenger players? I can tell you some shit about Challenger players. You want to know about the LCS, TSM? I don't know who they are.
I follow at North American Challenger, not collegiate, though. I don't go...
You haven't gone this far down the rung. So he's going to be the starting mid laner for Team Dragon Knights. Team Dragon Knights are considered kind of the top tier challenger team. They're very dominant. They're very oppressive in their style. Seraph is like a really carry top oriented playstyle. So when I heard that Ninja was going to be their mid laner, before it was, I can never say the mid laner's name correctly. I'm just going to shorten it to Kyle. But he was a Jace main is what he was really well known for. But I actually think that Ninja is going to work well in the dynamic of Team Dragon Knights because he's more of a controlled mage kiting style. It's funny too because Ninja's also really well known for his Jace play. But anything that can allow Emperor and Seraph to be hard carries and Ninja just kind of sit and be serviceable and stable. Because I don't think we'll ever say something like, oh, Ninja's amazing, his 1v1 talent's absurd, he's super great. We'll say he's serviceable. He's safe. You can just leave him in the mid lane.
That's not how Rookie felt.
Okay, so who is Ninja?
Mid laner, started for Prime Optimus.
From
No
Optimus?
Gyeonwoo.
Oh, good job.
Yeah.
Okay. So he came over and he replaced Sukum. So originally when Ninja came to the LPL, it was kind of a controversial move because everyone thought that Sukum was the better mid laner. I don't think that's arguable.
Nope,
It
he
was,
was definitely
yeah.
the better mid laner.
Yep.
But they wanted jungle synergy between the mid and jungle because they wanted to bring over a Korean jungler.
Good old B.
Yep,
Yeah.
Old B.
Axine. And
Which,
then
it was Old B.
Oh,
Old B was the second one, and he only played with
Second.
them for a single tournament, and then he was sent to WE Future.
And Mickey
Never
God.
Heard from again.
We had Khan,
Mickey God.
Old B, Axine, Mickey God, and Ninja. Yes, those were the 5 Koreans on rotation for World Elite before they got Spirit.
Well, World Elite Academy had Khan and Mickey God.
Mm-hmm.
And then Axine and Ninja were on World Elite. Yes.
Now, How was Ninja's performance? Because obviously he
Technically-
played up until IEM, which right before IEM he got subbed out and everyone saw Shie.
I do want to clarify that Ninja hasn't actually been purchased by the Dragon Knights. He's technically on loan. So,
What?
yeah, he's on loan for the summer only from WE.
Rent a Korean.
Yeah, rent
Yeah, I
to
love it so
Korean.
much.
Like the Chinese now, like have purchased all the Koreans, and they're setting up a rent a Korean business.
I was wondering
So-
how they can afford Ninja because they're
Yeah, that's what I was
purchased-
wondering too. But
And they end up renting.
It wouldn't be as funny if it wasn't true.
So does this mean that they're just
What
waiting on
is
a
happening?
visa with Kyle?
I don't know I don't know anything about Challenger. All I know is that WE posted that he was on loan, and Ninja confirmed it on his Facebook. So
Okay, so they're renting Ninja.
effectively, yes.
Out of all of the Koreans you could have rented.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, he was probably the cheapest per week fee.
Yeah.
I think it's probably that they have connections, is what I would assume, just because he's still going to be absurdly expensive because it is World Elite.
Isn't WE also mentioned? Sponsored by MSI?
I
Oh.
do not know.
Ooh, that could be. I don't know. I do know that there's connections.
But, okay, as people who have watched Ninja for his split in China and, like, his highest level of competitive experience, obviously not his time on Prime Optimus, what did we think about him?
Yeah, I was a pretty huge Sukum fan, so I thought that downgrade was pretty noticeable.
What was
But the thing is-
downgrading about him?
Pretty much everything. I mean, he was just kind of I mean, they switched him out for the whole synergy thing, but it didn't even really matter because relative to the other mid and jungle synergy, it was not really that great. I mean, I don't know. I didn't find anything good about Ninja except for his play on a couple of champions, and even that didn't happen until really late into the split. Like, Ninja's peak performance was actually right before he got replaced at IEM, and that's when it started getting confusing because they spent so many weeks building him up when everybody was disappointed in his performance, and then he was where people saw him play like a few casting games and actually carry a couple W games, and they're like, okay, well, I guess maybe he's decent, and then all of a sudden we got the news about GA. So, like, I don't know. It really depends on his performance relative to the majority of the LPL split or at the very end as to where he stands now.
I think
think
another issue is his champion pool, Raz.
Yeah. His champion pool is the biggest thing. I think it literally revolves around Ezreal, Jace, Kassadin, and Nivea.
He played some Cassiopeia games actually too. So
Mm.
I
Yep,
think his
Cho'Gath.
champion, yeah, Cho'Gath. I think his champion pool
was
was less relevant when they made the switch to Shia, but I think it's more relevant now. So
And
Yep.
you mean in terms of like coming back into meta and his
Yeah.
picks actually being power picks?
Mhm.
Okay.
The
yeah.
biggest thing that he needed if he needed a style, a specific style that really honestly that he survived solely around sustained laners is what I realized. Because he makes mistakes. He does in the lane. And so when he played Cho'Gath, when he played Anivia, it was a lot safer in the lane. And generally in team fights he's a lot more I think he's a lot better in team fights than he is in laning. And Anivia, like those picks really worked for him. So he had a style and he played it well near the end of the right up to MSI up to IEM. He was playing really well with that style. I think he was playing although he was playing against Gamti and who else? Snake was one set.
well, they played against Vici. They played against Invictus Gaming. Towards the
Yeah.
end, they actually played some pretty strong teams,
Yeah.
and he did fairly well in lane against Rookie.
Oh,
So
something that needs to be clarified. Ninja was not benched. He requested to step down when he
Yeah.
was replaced. So the big thing with World Elite is because they were losing so much, obviously the players were having confidence issues, and they had like a revolving door for their mid lane and their support position, where I guess like Ninja, Yushe, Conan, people like this were saying, I don't want to play anymore, I want to retire, please just bench me, please put the other
Yeah.
guy in. So it shouldn't be like, oh, the benched mid laner of World Elite is now coming over and playing in North America. No, he chose to step down. I don't know if that says that maybe he has confidence issues or anything like that, and that might, I don't know.
I mean, if you don't have confidence issues in China, especially in World Elite,
Oh yeah.
you're gonna get flamed by like the entire population of that country, and like you're gonna get flamed by a lot of people, a lot. And so, if we like, let's say, if we talk about the whole issue in NA with Nyan Tanso, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, look, a lot of people are flaming him. He has a lot of massive confidence issues." Well, guess what? Think about that times 100 for World Elite players, I suppose. Just like if you perform poorly, the fans react poorly.
So now here comes the question: how will Ninja perform in the LCS? And obviously, I can't answer this because I don't know anything about the LCS.
It's also really hard to answer just because Ninja seems to lack identity as to like what exactly style of player he is. I feel.
I mean, he started leveling up significantly, but he leveled up at about the same time Spirit did too. So you have to take that into consideration. Like, he had a really strong jungler.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then Ninja, I think you can notice a difference in Spirit's play, even like in the span of 1 week. He just got significantly better between like week 5 and 6. So, and then that was about the time when Ninja started going off as well. So, like, yeah, he would have these games where he went 11-0 on like Hasidon or Ezreal, or where he could play Anivia really well. But I think the one thing that Ninja had over, like, I would say in general that I think Ninja and Shia are of similar level. So everyone who was impressed by Shia at IEM, I think Shia overperformed at IEM. But I think that they have very different styles and champion pools, but overall are similar in level. Ninja's gonna like do team fights and play control mages a little bit better, and then Shia is gonna like just 1v1 better.
Mm.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a fair assessment. Yeah.
Are we good talking about Ninja? Nothing
Oh,
else you wanted to cover with him?
we ain't done with him.
Not really. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I've never been really a big fan until the very end, and the whole logic behind W bringing him in was like so shitty because I think Sukim and Ruo were a better pair, and I don't know. It was only at the very end that he looked really good, but it's also hard for me to sympathize with his improvement just because he did have like pretty much what we unanimously agreed at the time was the best jungler in the world. So.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna say that with Team Dragon Knights, they won't have the time to build up synergy. But Kez is a safe jungler. He's gonna be able to hopefully ward up around 4 Ninja, so maybe that'll keep him safe.
Even
And
if you ward for Ninja, I just don't see Ninja putting himself in a situation where he's gonna like. I don't think he's ever gonna be bloodthirsty and try to murder his lane. I don't consider him like a 1v1. He's probably just gonna sit back and just like play it safe and farm, and it's just up to Seraph and Emperor to carry.
yeah, and that's fair. Like I don't think he's gonna have problems unless if he goes up against him like C9 or TSM with their strong mid laners like Bjergsen and Incarnation, I suppose.
See, I was like Yasui and.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he will look. I think he will look good in NA, especially. I mean, especially like if he does play as well as he did in China. But I mean, he's going from Spirit to Kez, so I mean that's a fucking drastic drop off. And I'm sorry. It just makes it really hard to be a Ninja apologist. You know.
Yeah.
And you did, and Raz did mention, like, he has a very, I feel he has a very specific play style. So getting, like, he is kind of a serviceable guy who will let the side lanes carry, but I still feel like getting that balance of, like, what champions to make him comfortable on and all this other stuff is, like, a bit unique, so...
Can someone tell Hebo that he needs to message one of you and you need to relay the message to me? He keeps messaging me on Skype and I literally can't check my Skype, so I pull away from the scene, it's gonna change everything. And he's got, like, we're like 10 messages deep. I'm like, Hebo, I'm sorry, I have no idea what you want. Do you need a shower? Do we need to... what can I get you? So, if one of you could, like, relay that to me, preferably Kelsey, because she's easier, but... Anyway... That's the Ninja story. If you guys need to know anything else about Ninja, if you have any questions about Ninja, we can answer them. But part of the problem is that we don't really know how Ninja's going to perform. Like we said, he didn't really have any sort of style that like catered to him or anything like that. He had the best jungler in the world jungling for him when he started to kind of upturn. I think his best performance on his best champion was actually Ezreal, although he did get a pentakill on Jace last year.
Yeah.
There you go. That's all you need to know about Ninja. Let's move on to other roster changes. So
I think it's a request to increase your mic volume.
I'll work on that.
Dun, dun, dun. All right.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
Let's talk about what are the roster changes that we know for sure are going through.
All right, Kelsey. It's your job.
Okay, so the ones that we know for sure, there are 6 teams that have announced their lineups. Here, I have them done. Edward Gaming announced theirs officially, Snake announced theirs officially, VG Gaming announced theirs, King announced theirs, RNG announced theirs, Xiaogu announced theirs, and UP announced theirs.
Okay, let's first start with King, RNG, and the other team that somehow got eloped into this.
Unlimited potential!
You did a, I always want to call them limitless, I don't know. You did a little video where you discussed what happened. So Starhome Royal Club got relegated. What did they do then, Kelsey?
So, Starhome Royal Club got relegated. What they did next was they were like, the fans came and visited them, and they were like, oh my gosh, we feel motivated now, or at least this is what they said on their Weibo. So we must purchase our way back into LPL. So just to clarify,
They didn't just buy one team, though.
they didn't buy GamT. Well, according to the narrative, they didn't buy GamT Spot. They bought VG Gaming Potential Spot, which VG Gaming had to sell that anyway because they're not allowed to own it, right? So they bought VG Gaming Potential Spot, but then VG Gaming Potential's team supposedly got purchased by another owner. Okay. Unlimited Potential.
Got it?
Is the new name. And they bought GamT Spot, okay? So if you're following me here.
Okay, so Starhorn Rail Club decides that they actually want to care now. They run and they buy VGP Spot, because obviously VG can't own 2 different teams. VGP's roster then buys GamT Spot. Why did GamT have to sell their spot?
Because they suck. I don't know.
I'm glad that's clarified.
Well, the thing that happens is that half...
Is that the official reasoning?
Was that on the Weibo? Did you translate that? Because you may want to look at that translation.
Continuing, I don't think VG's individual players suck. I just think putting all, like, a bunch of 5-year-olds who have mechanical talent on a single roster is going to result in pretty much very few wins.
Are you referring to GamT's roster? Because it was a very young roster, yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about unlimited potential. Okay, no.
Yeah. Okay. So... I jokingly call them 5-year-olds, but they're all very young.
Yeah.
And so half of those players get purchased by King, and half of those players get purchased by Starhorn, by the Royal Club brand. They now have 2 teams, okay? They have their LPL team, Royal Never Give Up. I can't make this up. And
RNG.
RNG is the
Starhorn Royal Club.
At RNG, for all you people out there.
And Starhorn Royal Club is their LSPL team now. So, half of those players go to Royal Club, and half of those players go to King.
Okay, so effectively what happened is the 12 teams, so we had, after the LPL promotions, we had the 12 teams that are set in stone. VGP...
Okay, I'm not done yet, okay. Then, King and Starhorn, and then King and Royal Never Give Up are like, guys, let's switch our teams. This is totally not suspicious, even remotely. Okay, we're just gonna trade teams amicably here. We're gonna put Cola, Insect, Corn, Name, and Zero on King, and we're gonna put some GamT guys and some King guys on Royal Never Give Up. It has nothing to do with the fact that King has 50 circuit points for the regional tournament, and Royal Never Give Up doesn't, I think, has 10. They ended up getting like 10 or something. So it has nothing to do with the circuit point difference, which, by the way, it's not even that significant because like the winner of the summer split gets 450, and EDG already has 300 or whatever. But it has nothing to do with the circuit points. No one cares. Okay.
Okay, so Starhorn Club is effectively now King.
Yes.
And RNG, Royal Never Give Up, which was the original team that Royal Club bought, is now GamT/King.
Yes.
And VGP, the actual team that they bought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is now Unlimited Potential.
Just think of this
and
as...
who's on that roster?
The Unlimited Potential? Yeah. Lung, Aini, Zhao Yang, who I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, same.
It's not Apollo.
You know what's bad when the LSPL expert has no idea who the fuck is on that team?
It's not Apollo or Xuan, because Xuan got purchased by Vici Gaming, I think.
Mhm.
Well, he stayed with Vici Gaming. And
Apollo name change too.
Apollo name changed, and he's still a sub on the roster. But they have Zhao Yang, Sketch, and Hart. Everyone else is the same as the team. It's just the mid laner.
Mm. And I remember there was, like, Apollo's always been that player who you knew that, like, if they ever got anywhere, he was probably gonna get replaced. And it's such a hard thing to say. Because
I mean, they had
always...
like their 80 carry sub playing mid for them in the finals, right?
Yeah, exactly. He just had so many problems. Like, there were times where he just, like, died solo mid for no reason. You're, like, questioning why would he do that. You have, like, a lead, you're going even, but he does it. And you're like, okay, well...
You'll get your moment, Raz. We get to talk
There's
about all
even-
the new little LSPL teams. in
There's even an
LPL.
interview, I just want to say, there's even an interview Hart had in January when he was, like, just getting, like, comfortable with the team, I guess, and he was just, like, talking about, like, one thing, like, they had to work with was, like, getting Apollo comfortable, and it's like, okay, well,
Apollo was pretty bad.
yeah.
Okay, so we have the confirmed rosters. We now understand what's happening with Starhorn Royal Club. We've got... Let's start with Snake, because I think Snake was kind of like the breakout team that lots of people started to like. Their roster has changed. They now have a new mid laner.
Alright.
Yes.
And I
You.
think they are going to rotate their 80 carries. So
Mhm.
They have a new mid laner, and they're rotating the 80 carries. So their two 80 carries are now going to be Crystal and Martin.
Mhm.
Crystal, I believe, is being rotated because he's injured. His hand, I believe, or his wrist is injured.
I think also just because like Merton is a very different kind of 80 carry, plays very different champions, other stuff.
Plays it better.
Team fighting 80
Honestly,
carry
from what he from
and
what he's
1v1
played in the-
80 carry.
Mhm.
Yep.
I mean, not just that, but he has he plays like Sivir and Jinx, which I mean, Crystal didn't. So
Yeah, team fighting ADC versus 1v1 ADC. You got the Draven player and the Callisto
I mean, I
player,
guess
and you
a
got
lot
the
of people
Sivir
think-
and Jinx player.
I guess a lot of people think Crystal as a team fighting 80 carry because he plays
Oh.
a bunch of hyper carries.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You have-
You can't. That doesn't really
I mean,
count.
Snake is a team fighting team, so
Yes.
yeah.
It's just like two different kinds of teams fighting. One literally trying to help the team, the other one trying to the team is engulfed around, surrounding him, and that's pretty much
Yeah.
Crystal.
Martin was so much more self-sufficient in the time
Yeah.
I've seen him play. So
Mhm.
Their
He
mid
plays
laner,
Ezreal,
though,
guys.
is this guy named Yu. Now, that may sound familiar because it's EDG's old mid laner before Pawn replaced him. So what I'm actually curious about is it was said last split that Pawn was going to take the first 4 weeks off of LPL to go back and recover, and that Yu would be subbing for the team. And so I was really curious if, because of Easyhoon and Faker's performance at MSI, if maybe EDG would be inspired to do a Yu Pawn, Easyhoon Faker style of like subbing out your mid laners. But now that Yu is on Snake, which I think is an excellent trade, because I think he's pretty much an upgrade to Baka, as well as very similar in playstyle in every single position.
Yeah.
yep. Way bigger champion pool too.
Mhm.
We love you. How much do we love you?
A lot.
love
I've always
you.
thought he was really good. Like the thing
I'll see
with
some
you is
more.
people saw exactly the role that he was forced to play on EDG, and then as time progressed, people saw that he was able to open up and play other things like assassin style play very well too. So he's really flexible and moldable to what the team needs. So if they want him to fulfill whatever Baka was doing, he can do that and probably better. But also he won't be completely screwed if certain champions are banned out like Baka was. And I think that opening up pick and bans for Snake is going to make them a lot stronger, because as soon as people started figuring out Snake in the draft phase, that's
Right.
when it started going all downhill for them.
It's not like Xerath has to be banned every game against them now. Like,
Yeah.
he'll have things to do if his best champion is banned. And he can probably, he can play Ziggs, and that was, that was probably, I would say that was Baka's second best champion, because that's what he played a lot in LSPL. So, I mean, he might be able, Xerath is the only one I can think of that maybe he can't play because he hasn't shown it. Maybe he can't play Azir because he hasn't shown it, but and you seems to be capable of learning stuff. So
Mhm.
Right, and I mean, like, it's not I mean, we say this, but it's not like Baka was able to adapt to new champion picks either. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it is just a straight up upgrade. I feel.
And you have started getting higher in the ladder. Well, so that just means that he's just been honing his like mechanical skills. So, just added measurements there.
Okay, so that's
So
Snake.
Yeah, and I mean, no, I was just gonna add that. I mean, he does have if Snake's a team fighting team, then he has a lot of team fighting experience because the way you played on EDG was very, very safe up until team fights, and he was miraculous at those. So it's such a good fit.
Yeah, his team fighting is so good. Like,
So what do we think about Snake with Martin and you, and like the context of the top LPL teams? Because obviously they finished very well, not only in the playoffs but also in the regular season. I mean, I guess the playoffs was kind of like a regular season.
I want to see if the addition of you and Martin and their increased champion pools, with the addition of Ella improving so much over the course of the split, will open up Flandre to play more stuff he's more comfortable with. Like, instead of being relegated to tank style stuff, like, I want to see if he'll be able to play how he did in LSPL. And I feel like the dynamic of the team might change a little bit, but they'll still kind of have their signature team fight style. I do think it's just an overall upgrade, though. Like, I can't really find anything that's worse than it was off from spring.
What these moves tell me is that Snake recognizes what their problem was last split, which is that they were very dependent on one very specific style, and they're looking for ways to diversify their gameplay. So, that's like probably the smartest response to a problem and an off-season roster move I've ever seen a Chinese team make. So
let's go the other way. Let's go. Let's go a very typical response. Let's go to Vici Gaming. So Vici Gaming has decided, instead of to change any of their pieces, that they're just going to add a bunch of pieces. And I believe they're going to be doing a rotating roster. So they've got, what, 2 mid laners, 2 top laners, 2 ADCs?
Oh, someone help me. That's, I don't know.
Do we know anything, about these players? Because I looked at those names and I didn't recognize them.
I didn't recognize any of them.
Oh.
Vici Gaming.
Okay.
Anyone.
I know. I can tell you who a lot of them are, actually.
Yeah.
Thank God.
So the top lane sub, Debuji or whatever. Sorry, I'm messing up his name. I don't have it written down. But he's a popular streamer, and he's best known for his Aurelia. So I have no idea what they're gonna do with that. He plays like Rumble and Aurelia, and Carrie's already a good Rumble player.
Yeah.
This is just a case that they're just going to have him on the bench and he'll just be streaming for them and make revenue?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it seems like to me, because he is pretty popular. Like, so that's what Fire Lolly does for EDG. So, then we have...
Dandy.
The next one is... Dandy. And then the next one, we had the mid lane sub is... I forget what his name is. It's Pung. Pung, right?
Pung, yeah.
Yeah, Pung. And he's going to be... He played for, like, a team that I don't think is even in TGA, called GW. And he apparently was pretty high on Challenger, though, on the Challenger ladder, though, but he's a mid lane sub, so I don't really know much about his champion pool or his playstyle. But I'm guessing that they're going to try him out as a replacement for Hatong. And then they have Xuan, who we already mentioned earlier, was the mid lane sub for Vici Gaming, and he actually ended up playing mid for them in their finals in LSPL. And
he's also been playing. He's always been in and out throughout the regular season as well. Yeah.
So he was actually subbing for mid lane for them, but I guess his main role is AD carry, so they're gonna try him out. And they had another one.
Endless from...
Right. This is on top of Vasily.
Yeah, so they had 2... So I'm guessing, like, they're definitely, like, looking at the AD carry problem first, but...
So...
If only they avoided that at the start of spring.
Yeah.
So what do we think about Vici's roster?
It's, I don't know. I don't like it. I mean, I feel like...
I don't really think they're going to rotate, honestly. The only ones I can see rotating is AD carry, just because they identify as an issue.
Any need to adjust?
I mean, maybe mid.
And I think mid needs to be fixed. I think mid is the most glaring problem with that roster. I feel like Vici Gaming is identifying that they have weak players in their lanes, and they're trying to get upgrades, but they probably couldn't sign like the players they wanted or something, and so they're just like grabbed a bunch of players.
What
and
seems
like,
ridiculous to
we'll give
me
you a
about
shot.
that statement is the fact that Vici have so much money. They're a very wealthy organization. I mean, obviously the Dota team is doing very well. Their league team did great for their initial split. So the fact that they just wouldn't be able to sign anyone is like super curious to me, especially because of all those rumors about them trying out Cool and things like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, there were rumors about Cool, so that's the one wrench in the plans, but maybe they have a tighter law budget for the summer or something. So, I don't know, like, what the issue is, but...
That team, I think, the biggest issue is probably where they're looking. I know teams, generally, when they come in, like, LPL teams, when they look into the LSPL, they probably don't look in the right directions, or really even trust in certain players, for instance. I know that. Oh, we're probably going to talk about it anyways. Chao Gu's acquisition of Cherish. That was probably something they probably like. That's something they should have went for.
Yeah.
But
And I'm pretty sure Cherish is going to sit on the bench anyway because he's not Korean.
all right.
So, but
God bless Hero.
God bless Hero.
Who is he managing?
He's the coach for Chao Gu.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hero's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hero,
Congratulations.
the former manager and coach for World Elite when they decided to bring
WEA.
over
He was
Ninja.
just the coach, but yes.
He was the guy who benched Ruo and
Right.
Sucko.
He's the guy that made everybody lose faith in Korean acquisition in China. He's like the OG of such actions.
Yeah.
Let's just start farming down Prime Optimus.
We had WE that like got completely tanked versus Starhorn Royal Club that made second at World's Finals. So I mean,
Yeah.
we had a wide range there. But so he's back. It's excellent. But he was the one because the reason why he's back is because he had Swift, right? He grabbed Swift and said, if you want to sign Swift, you have to take me. Pretty much.
That's not shady.
No.
So it's like, please help me. And he was just standing by him with like his hands on his shoulders, like, yes.
I feel like Swift and Spirit are going to be really good friends.
yeah.
Actually, I mean, I know Raz doesn't really like Chuggas. I think Chuggas' bottom lane is fine, actually. Like,
Okay.
I think their bottom lane is like
Okay,
solid mid-tier.
Raz, tell us, who is this new and interesting team joining the LPL? Will they be any good? Who is on their roster? Now we know who's coaching them, so...
Yeah. Alright, so this team has TNT and TCT. More is... Which one is more? I hate their names so much.
TCT!
TCT is more. Okay, yeah. I see.
Go top, jungle, mid, ADC, support.
Oh, wow, okay.
LCS order here.
Alright, fine. Okay, so they're... Damn it, it's V, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's V for top lane. The jungler is Swift. Their mid laner is... I hate this. Duin B? I'm just gonna say Duin B. Their AD carry is TNT, and their support is TCT, who you might know as More from LMQ. Yep. They're a team that is pretty much... I feel like they're just so based on mechanical outplay. That's just they've somehow embraced the idea
Well,
of
obviously it got them
mechanical
into the
outplay.
LPL, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah, no, it is strictly mechanics and the best like matchup. I mean, I haven't watched many of their games because I don't really watch LSPL, but when I was watching Demacia Cup, like Snake is a team that obviously is good at team fighting, but has no star players, and you could like tell the disparity like super huge in that game. That's why in the quarterfinals, QG was able to beat Snake like pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't the meta favor them right now because it is so team fight oriented?
Oh no!
No. They're about individual
No,
play,
Snake.
not about team fight.
She's
Oh,
asking
Snake?
about Snake.
Oh, the snake.
Oh, Snake.
No,
Oh.
I'm asking about. I can never say their
If
name.
you're talking about QG,
Alright.
no, I don't think so. I think QG relies on outlaning their opponents.
Outlaning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Outlaning, and at the same time, Swift was so damn. He was basically.
Yeah, Swift is really good.
Spirit. He was basically Spirit. Like, you give him Nidalee, he will just crush on his own. And he doesn't, like, I don't know, like that champ. It's basically Cinderhulk City right now. It's not.
So
Yeah.
where do you see them lining up? especially in the current meta, 5.9.
Is last place a safe? I'm gonna go last place.
You put Snake in last place last time, and we saw
I
how that
understand
happened.
but that was before. Wait, was it before the acquisition of Beast and Ella? I'm gonna say it was.
No, it was after.
No, it was after. I still didn't know who those guys were. So, like, with that being said, take my words with no. You know what? Take my words for what it is. With Beast and Ella, I look at those. I basically looked at them as B tier Koreans, and I was like, I don't trust it. That's an X factor.
They
I
are
don't
one of
look
the
at.
few times where it's actually been impressive to bring in no-name Koreans. Like, I mean, maybe not so much for Beast, but for Ella. I mean,
Yeah.
usually when that happens, it's like, okay, you probably could have found better domestic talent, but Snake got pretty lucky in that regard. So I don't really blame anyone for thinking
Wait a
that
minute.
these people that no one's heard of.
Oh wait, we're talking about Xiaogu. Just kidding. I want to talk about unlimited
Wait, what do you
potential.
think we're talking about?
This guy's
No.
crazy.
No. I forgot.
bring
I
that up,
forgot.
dude?
No. I
He's
forgot
like
about unlimited
shotgun,
potential.
like,
I was like-
a straight sugar.
No.
He's just like on a high right now, just buzzing everywhere.
I had to think about the teams that existed and realize that unlimited potential is still there.
How does
So-
that?
I
Okay.
don't know.
So unlimited potential is gonna be last, and I think Xiaogu is gonna be.
Why is unlimited
Got it.
potential going to be last? Haven't
Yeah.
you learned?
Don't you have any faith in Heart and Sketch?
King
They're
and
great,
Snake
but-
were the LSPL teams that came in last
What
year, and
about
both of them made
Ivy?
playoffs.
Aimi in this meta is not gonna be looking good.
Well, neither, like, okay, all of the jungles, most of the jungles we have in LPL right now are, like, carry-style junglers, right? We have,
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
fucking... So a bunch of these really good junglers that we have sitting around in China are just gonna be like, screw this Cinderhulk meta, my team is too heavy. It's pretty
I
much
might
what's
have
happening.
To be fair with unlimited potential, I have no damn clue who that mid laner is. Like I absolutely, I have. So that result
Unlimited
there.
potential?
Yeah, they're new mid laner.
I think it's the same mid laner. Oh, no, J, oh yeah, we were right, they replaced the
Yeah.
mid laner, that's right.
Yeah.
We
So
were just talking about this.
so with their new mid laner, he's like amazing. I don't know if he's horrible. I don't know, like I'm gonna have to assume that he's a step up from Apollo.
Given Vici Gaming roster decisions, I mean, outside acquiring Dandy and Mata, which is like probably one of the smartest moves ever, right? But like not putting them in an environment where they can succeed. The fact that they've had Wayless, they've had like SLZ, they've had a bunch of players on their roster that they've sold to other rosters, and then they've had that team beat them in like lower leagues and prevent them from getting into LPL like repeatedly. This
Yeah.
isn't something that's just happened once. This has like happened repeatedly throughout the team's history. I mean, it just feels like they're not super good at roster decisions.
Yeah. So for this split, I would probably put Xiaogu over unlimited potential, just because of that aspect of like mechanically outplaying, which you can never really underplay. But yeah, I would still have them as second last. I want to say that, and I think that's a safe bet. I have no faith in the LSBL teams after
I
the.
don't know. I think they'll
Snake
be.
literally
I don't know.
took what?
Right?
I think.
Yeah, I
Snake-
understand. Okay, I
Snake
see
did
what you're getting at.
amazing for a
Demacia Cup.
regular season, and you're just like, I will never
But
trust
Snake had
an
such a
LSPL
bad
team.
I
playoffs
think
too, though.
it's going to come
That's
down
'cause they
to
were
like
exposed.
King and Xiaogu fighting over 8th place. I think it's gonna, or I guess I should say RNG and Xiaogu fighting
Oh,
over 8th place.
Yeah, I have trouble seeing Xiaogu getting into playoffs just because I feel like once teams adapt to their individualistic style of play that they're not going to be able to do well.
I just put them because I think a strong jungler, like even though this meta is annoying, I still think a strong jungler is extremely important. And because
That's
of how
true.
good Swift is, I think like they're gonna be either 8th or 9th. Like they're either gonna scoot into playoffs or they're going to knock down King.
Yeah,
The
I mean
other
it's
issue is that they're coming into a time where a lot of the hybrid rosters have gotten up and going, whereas like Snake and King came in where
Yeah,
not only
that's-
Snake was trying to deal with their hybrid roster, but King, obviously the all Chinese team, they didn't have to deal with like the hybrid rosters at their power level.
Yeah.
That's the one really interesting thing about the split is because usually like LPL teams are extremely, and I don't know if it's because they spent so much money last off season, but usually LPL teams are extremely reactionary when it comes to roster changes. Like no one keeps the same roster split to split, and almost everyone did this time. Like there are very few roster changes actually. So I think that's going to be something very new and very interesting.
Mhm.
Well, when you're paying that much for players, you want to hang
Yeah.
on to them.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about OMG.
So OMG isn't confirmed
But
on their Weibo, but it's my understanding that they're staying with Go Going, Lovely and Cool, UZI, and they're actually going to start Xiyoung support.
I mean, it worked kind of when they were doing their random roster changes, but I really don't trust their ability to hold on to a starting roster throughout the split. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. That
more
team is a big...
importantly,
And-
they've
and
also
s-
changed their coaching.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
didn't
they got
know
rid
that.
of the other guy. I don't know who they replaced him with. I just know that he's not. They probably have like no coach now. No, they probably.
That might not be a bad thing.
I'm pretty sure they have a coach,
Compared
but
to,
they.
like, the last coach.
Yeah, it's my understanding that they no longer have the same coach.
It's one of these moments that I wish I had like confetti just randomly spawning in my hand.
Yeah,
Just-
they desperately needed.
That's
a
your
switching
superpower. I want the ability to generate confetti at random times.
I would get hired so often.
Birthday parties. I'm great.
Hey,
See, I think Xiyoung would kind of work with UZI because he's like just how aggressive he is, but at the same time, I don't think he has the experience required to lane with someone that he's going to have to pull out of shitty situations on a regular basis.
The strength of
So-
it is, though, is that Xiyoung was all about his laning phase, and that's pretty much where UZI likes to shine. So if you have two
Yeah.
very lane-dominant players,
I think actually when we
Mhm.
watched him play as a support, he roamed a lot.
so that's why I loved him. By the way, that's
Yeah.
really when he came in with San and like the San Xian bot lane. He was so map centric. He was like always roaming a bit too much. He was trying. Maybe he was testing his limits, honestly, and so that he's gonna get picked off. like legit in his first few weeks, he's gonna get like picked off so often because teams are gonna realize this. But I liked him for that reason, and it worked out when he was subbing. But
not a
If they're-
big data pool to pull from that, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yep.
we can't really tell. And the fact that he was with Sen, who doesn't really need, like, his handheld or not, and UZI is much more lane-oriented, like, that could be a factor. But the thing is that if they are looking to give more roam, potentially more jungle support like that, I would think that would be a good direction for them, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay, EDG.
Yeah,
Oh,
EDG, they signed Amazing J.
This is supposed to be Soldier's episode. Amazing J got signed to
I
the
know.
best team in China right now.
it's too bad I can't.
There were a lot of rumors about Koro on holding off his contract on re-signing. My thought on it is that because he's been with the same team for 3 splits, like eventually there's a lot of wage inflation, and the fact that they're doing so well, I'm guessing Koro 1 wasn't like getting paid maybe as much as like some of the other players who've signed to teams recently. So he was just trying to get a higher salary increase by seeing how much he could get and to see if he could force like EDG to pay him a little bit more. I doubt he was getting paid poorly, but just because EDG does have a reputation for paying well. But that's my theory on what he was doing. He did end up staying with the team. He was confirmed on their roster announcement. I'm guessing they'll stick with that Koro, Clear Love, Pond, Deft, and Mako lineup. Just because they also moved Ray and Buy Me to
Yeah.
the main lineup. So
Which the saddest thing about that is that I feel like Bayami is going to see more play than Ray, maybe. Because
Well-
of course, why would you replace Koro?
the other thing is like unless they decide to swap out Deft for a Chinese AD carry, because they said they're going to announce 2 more players still. So unless they decide to swap out Deft for a Chinese AD carry, both their mid laners are Korean. So you can't really swap out the mid lane and like you can't really change the number of Korean players to let Ray play easily. So sort of the situation they're in.
That sucks. Nah,
Yeah.
Ray really needs to find. I'm sad that ADG wasn't like able to be like a good enough team, obviously.
He tried so hard.
He tried so hard. He was trying to lug that team over his back.
Oh
It just didn't
my
work
god,
out.
those Kale games, man.
At the same
He
time,
won these 5.
at the same time, I don't really know how often EDG would need to use any subs whatsoever. I think it's more
Yeah.
of like a acquisition to prevent acquisition from other teams.
It feels like to me because they said they're going to sign 2 more players and it'll probably be an 80 carry and a support. It sounds to me like they're like just getting a full roster, 2 full rosters that they can like scrim against.
Scrim, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It also serves as an insurance policy, and then if things go well with those other players, then there you go, an LSPL team they could potentially form. So
and they had that like EDG International logo, and the speculation is that some of these players they said that are like on the EDG lineup are actually on like the new LSPL team because they stole that LSPL spot, which would be called EDG International when they announced the last 2 players. So I have no idea what's happening exactly, but that's all the announcement said. Yeah.
Invictus Gaming confirmed their roster.
They didn't confirm their roster, they just posted a picture on their Weibo. They didn't like list it and say, oh, that's like Invictus Gaming hype, and they had like one of the photos of the existing roster, and so it's.
Yeah.
But my understanding is the IG roster is staying the same.
And this is important because Zatai was actually considering retiring, but after seeing EDG's success at MSI, rejuvenated him.
Yeah, apparently he was like dueling with Kid and yelling at Kid for picking Misfortune. He's like, no, we're gonna be serious. Which from Zatai is pretty funny.
yeah.
Yep. Any other? Did we get all of them, or did we miss someone?
We didn't talk about WE.
We talked about WE at length.
We did.
We talked about Ninja.
Well, yeah,
we
that's
didn't
not
talk
talking about
about
WE.
Dada. We didn't talk about
Okay, Dada 7.
We have to
that's
talk
seven.
about the
That was
777.
Sungu.
Oh yeah, of course. He needs the brand change.
He needed to change his identity for sure.
There was a
Good
rumor. There was a rumor from Xiao Xiao, which turns out to be probably completely false.
Okay.
That Duke was going to come to the top lane for WE, and that they were going to have Spirit, Shia, and San and Dada 7. But I don't think San is leaving OMG, and I don't think they're going to get Duke. And the picture they posted to their Weibo was the same roster, except they had Conan.
You got trolled by
So-
Xiao Xiao?
I got trolled by Xiao Xiao. I was like, still kind of like, that sounds like it would be cool to have like a really strong top laner with Spirit so that he could have an ally, but just it was not to be. The picture though gets my hopes up that they'll be starting Conan, which I feel like that's a false hope. And it's weird to say that I hope they start Conan, but when your alternative is Dada 7, I mean, watch Dada 7 come out and just be like suddenly a god.
Well, here's what's really
That'll be the
interesting
best
to
day
me.
of my life.
Is that
How hard is it to find a support in this environment? You have so many players out there, and their options are Conan and Dada.
Come on, 300 guys. Let's go. One day,
so
300 will
is
be on an
what's,
LPL
like,
team.
really curious to me is that out of all of the players, like, out of all of the positions that you're going to change on the World Elite roster, you're like, okay, it's the support position. Because obviously we talked about how Yujie and Conan were both saying, like, I don't want to be on the team, you start on the team, I don't want to be on the team, you start. So then they go and they find Dada 7. Now, Dada 7, if you don't remember who he is, he's OMG support, played with San. The Fnatic versus OMG games at Worlds, where it was that crazy ending, like, Dada 7, he played Nami, he...
That
Unfortunately,
last fight happened when he wasn't in the fight. It was a 4v5.
yeah, we're going flashed over the wall.
Yeah.
That's where I was. Dada 7 is not the most experienced player. I believe he actually is from Cross Title.
Well, actually, he is experienced. He's just
He
not
played
good.
an entire
Difference.
LPL split before.
Yeah.
For,
No,
for
I just
positive energy.
that's my way of saying that he's maybe undesirable in his results, or at least he hasn't shown.
I mean, because he's
incredibly
actually been
strong.
playing for a while now.
But he's from a fighting game, I believe. It's like his
Yeah.
core title.
Yeah,
DNF.
yeah.
He's not
Oh.
like yeah.
Yeah. He used to be a professional DNF player.
Apparently-
He competed in World Cyber Games for it or something.
What
Apparently he
the?
got
okay.
banned from DNF for advertising a non-Tencent game
And I think
Wait,
the only
really?
reason he actually started playing
Yeah.
League is because San asked him, right?
Yes.
Or somebody
Well,
asked him to play.
that was the rumor, is that someone asked him to play, but like he's really good friends with San. The thing is that he did switch titles, and he isn't just playing because of San, because he's played an entire split on a team without San before. So like people who went on Reddit was like, China Talk, stop being mean to Dada7. He's only playing because San asked him to play. He doesn't actually want to play League. Why was he playing an entire split without San then? Stop! No more!
The most tragic thing is we never got to see the Dada Uzi lane.
Either way, this guy has got a really limited champion pool. You pretty much have to put him on like a tank, because otherwise he'll just die a ton, because he's not very experienced in
Well,
his
he'll just die
positioning.
anyway, but it does help.
He misses a lot of his skill shots, so he halves a lot of his impact as far as CC and damage is concerned. There's pretty much consistent problems throughout this guy's career. He's always been a sore spot, or the easily, like,
He did have a
weak
good
link on
board
team.
stats, though, at Worlds.
He did have a good... Yeah, he actually ended up warding more than any support, except for, I think it was Yellow Star,
Yeah.
Yep.
per minute, so that was, which, like, those stats are slightly biased because they had that really long game, right?
With Fnatic?
Like, if you have a Sightstone and eventually your wards per minute's going to be really high. So, like, the fact that those two are at the top, it's a little bit suspicious. But
Yeah.
What's sad is, like, for people who don't know Dada, which I'm really surprised about, like, because you would have heard his name by now. He was literally at Worlds. But, like, it's one of those situations in which, like, you hear so much bad talking about his play, and you, like, I'm always at a moment where I want to defend him, like, during the split, I'm like, he can't be that bad. And then you watch another game, and it just keeps, like, you just can't defend it anymore. It just gets to that point. Like, he's probably, I mean, he's played, I want to say he's probably improved by now, but that's just the general assumption you always want to make about a player, and it's just...
He seems to be a very go-lucky, happy guy in all of his promo videos, so maybe he's just, like, super... Like, if you have Yushe and Conan who are like, take me off the team, I'm done, coach, like, put me out, maybe you need that guy who's like, yes, I'm ready to go, let's go, guys, let's win.
supposedly that's why Aluka, like, Aluka keeps getting on team assists, because apparently Aluka's attitude is, like, super good. Like, he's just this happy guy all the time.
Even
And
when he's getting
always
dove by,
coach
like, 10
with-
people, he's like, this is awesome.
Exactly.
I'm having so
like,
much fun, guys.
I don't know. Aluka and Dada7 have been on a team together before, though. And that team won pretty much, like, I think 4 games the entire split. So, just a warning. No, maybe it
When
was
Dada
6.
comes out to be a god, like, his name change just levels him up, all of you will
I know,
regret.
like, Aluka and Dada are suddenly gods, and people are like, oh my god, those China Talk people are idiots. It's like, who
Spirits
is...
just starts feeding relentlessly.
Oh my god.
But
Someone
no.
has to pay. It has to be equivalent
We're just-
exchange. Spirit has to go down for
I
the
mean,
other two
there's
to
a
rise.
possibility that Aluka and Dada are going to be like the carries WE needs, but the thing is, it's just the precedent has not been set for this.
Okay,
and that's
Kelsey.
all we want to say.
See, Spirit, Shie, and Mystic, they're actually like really negative people. They're like they're super, they get tilted really easily. They constantly feed, and so their performance has only been at like 50% because it becomes like this moment, like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want a team fight now, and it caused their fiery destruction, which is why they were the first team to drop out in playoffs. With Dada7 and Aluka, if we just inject rainbows and unicorns and love into this team, it'll unlock Mystic, Shie, and Spirit's performance. And suddenly they'll be like, guys, I don't think we can win. And Dada7 will be like, no, we've got this. And Spirit will be like, yes.
No,
Let's
my
be
favorite
honest,
Like
is
that
like...
Spirits are already rainbows.
No, Spirit, like, my favorite is that interview with Spirit and Mystic, where Spirit's like, the only team I don't think we'll be able to beat is EDG. And Mystic's like, maybe we can get 4th. And Spirit's like, no, we're going to be awesome.
See,
World.
it's already working.
This is the best team ever. And then they're like,
Yeah.
how can we ruin this? How can we destroy Spirit once again? I know.
It's like Spirit will
Dada7.
double your salary if you speak well of us in interviews.
All I'm saying is if you have Dada7 and Aluka, just reach back into the vault and bring out STYZ. And then suddenly, let's see if his attitude changes. So let's see if he's far behind.
Yeah,
Will
this
he
is
start actually
excellent.
contributing
You
in team
get
fights?
STY. See, Raz understands. STYZ, really famous for tilt. Get him back on the roster. Surround him with love. See what happens.
he's like gonna be 1-5, and Aluka and like Dada will just be hugging him, be like, "It's okay."
Look,
all-
just get up from his seat and like
Just take
walk
their
all the way over. That's why he dies all the time. He's like sitting up and going and hugging his teammates. It all makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my god.
You know what?
Anyway,
I hope he succeeds.
I do too. That would be like a really cool story. And as a
Yeah, I think
writer,
it'd be
That would be
hilarious.
the best storyline. Dada 7, the true carry of World
Exactly.
Elite.
Getting
Kelsey already has 75% of this like story written out. Just
Oh,
like,
it's ready to go on the score. Like, Esports Heaven and the score, they've just been looking at each other like, your Mako piece? Yeah.
Dada 7.
Just- Dada 7 rising. Alright.
Do we want to talk about what we think of RNG and King rosters though?
Nope.
Nope.
Do we
I'm
want to?
switch around what I thought last like
Because we
time.
haven't actually said what the King roster, what
It's
the
also fairly important that King also replaced their coaching staff.
because RNG is Let Me, MLXG, Xiaohu, Wushin, and Lei.
Yeah.
So, I
I
mean,
mean, the team has talent now, but I mean, they've
I-
always had
I
talent.
actually think Xiaohu and Assassin are very similar. It's just that Xiaohu showed a lot more champions, and
You did not just say that.
Let Me, and Xiaohu is like will also take a lot more risks I think, than Assassin did, but because Assassin, like the entire, I think the good thing about this is because one of the big failings of King was that if they would just like passively lose sometime by not doing anything, so someone like Xiaohu, who's like a big risk taker, could actually be really helpful. And then Let Me, I think is actually, considering how many champion pool issues Sky was struggling with last split, is actually going to be an upgrade. So
I'm so sad about that. I mean, I'm not. I want to be sad about that because I really do love Sky as a player, but he has a lot of issues that don't involve Aurelia. Like, if he's on Aurelia, we're fine, but otherwise, it becomes a problem.
Vici and RNG become the same team.
So where do we put RNG then?
Yeah. Like I said, I think RNG and Xiaogo are going to be like fighting over 8th and 9th.
Okay,
Yeah.
and King you put above that? The
Yeah.
Starhorn Royal Club team?
Mhm.
I want to preface this by saying that all King, I mean, all the old Starhorn Royal Club, the one that got relegated, all they needed was time to solidify any form of synergy with that roster. Like, they had this whole issue where Name wasn't there, and when Name was there finally, hey, we had a team except, like, Insect fell off a building, and you're like, okay.
Okay,
Like,
that's a bit extreme. I don't think
Like,
he's
yeah.
building, but
okay, he fell.
Fell out
I
of
mean, it's a
second
better
storm.
story.
not only is that wrong, but you're taking the blame away from Insect here. Okay, this is his
It
responsibility. All right.
shows, okay?
Okay, he jumped off of.
Thank you for clarifying.
And so, like, then
I
they
feel
put in a
so
blank.
bad for him. I'm actually, okay, I
I
will
made
say
the
this.
most fun out of him last episode.
I'm
that you were
really
on.
excited that Insec is actually not retiring, because I heard that he was considering retiring. I was like, no, he can't retire. He needs to carry Name to Worlds. That's how that works.
Hmm.
And so to see Insec continue to play.
I just want to see. I said it before, in which I made some random stupid.
I just want to see how they're gonna do. Like, I don't really even care anymore. If they tank and they're terrible in their last place, I don't care. I just want to see a split where this team plays together. I want to see how they do with all the hype and all the back and forth and all the whatever. I just want to see them play a split. That's all I want. I don't care. Whatever.
She's she'll take what she's given. All I'm saying, when Starhorn Rail Cup got relegated, I said that watch Worlds, the next Worlds we're gonna have, for whatever reason, Starhorn Rail Club versus some random Korean team. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna have to be Never Give Up now, though. It's not gonna be. It's all the brand.
How
thing.
amazing
They
would that
can't make
be
it.
if RNG makes it to Worlds and they go to second?
Grand finals.
Shout out to God.
Uzi Eyes like sitting in third place because he just got knocked out by RNG, and he's just like, so this is what this feels like?
How insane would the MLXG hype be at that point? Because MLXG, in my opinion, is already the most overrated player in LPL, and now he's just like,
He steals all the fucking kills.
He looks like Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, he does. He does.
He looks
I
more
mean,
like Harry Potter than Imp looks like Harry Potter.
I mean, it depends how much makeup they splashed on his face. Like,
That was
it
really
really does.
intense. That was like Harry Potter, like, and the Sorcerer's Stone. That's what that was. And imps like Deathly Hollows.
But in MLXG's high point in his career was based on his jungle
Vi?
packing. Never based on that Vi as well.
The high point of his career is when Vi is at the apex of her assault and battery.
You just ult someone, that's about it.
That's
but,
pretty
like,
much his career.
but it has never been based off of his mechanics. And if you ever had needed proof, you can watch his numerous, maybe
Italy games?
Italy games, and you can see how
okay.
many spears he misses. It hurts. It hurts my eyes watching that.
It's just like every game we're just banning Italy, so you can't play it. But Italy's out of it. I don't care. You're not playing it.
He's very young, though, so it kind of
yeah.
makes sense that he
There's
would make irrational choices as far as his
yeah.
champion pool is concerned.
That's
Wow.
the thing, though. This team is still so young. Like, they're all so young. I think
Okay.
the average age actually dropped by adding Xiaohu. So
Is there any roster change? So we've kind of gone through. Is there any roster change that you guys wanted to see happen that didn't happen? Like, if you could just have your dream roster change, just one, what is it? Who do you fix? Who do you take? Who do you move? Who do you bench?
Gamgee's coach to OMG, please. It's not
Oh.
gonna
That's a
happen.
really good one.
He's not gonna be on Starhorn. He's gonna be on Starhorn Royal Club.
By the way, just a question. Chris is no longer part of the organization, right?
Right.
Old
Quit,
Chris, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Okay. Just had to check. Rest in peace, Chris.
No.
Damn, this is a really hard question.
Come on, guys.
I wrote an
I'm looking
article
through the
on
rosters
this.
now.
I literally, and here's the thing that you guys don't see, is I put this in Skype chat for them, like, yesterday. So they had all
right,
night to
that's
think
true.
about this. And
I-
they
Was that
were like,
really
wrote-
yesterday?
yeah.
I wrote an entire article about it. You can read it on thescore.com.
Okay.
Thescoreesports.com.
I mean, at this point,
I
it's a
wish
weird
that
thing
they
to
would
run.
take Uzi and they would put him, like, if you just switched Uzi and Vasily, I think both those teams would get infinitely better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, might would be really good.
I think Vasily would do excellent on OMG, and I think Uzi would do fantastic on the hands of Dandy and Mata.
Yeah, considering
I still
that
don't see why you'd
Vasily
use
is now
Vasily
like
over Sam, though.
I just want to clarify. Yeah, again.
I'm just
I still
switching
feel
them.
Okay.
I just want to see
Vasily
Ray
can just like
on the team.
then again, Vasily and San can just be like. I mean, this is kind of like the theme of OMG anyway. They're just becoming like movie stars or whatever. That's what the big circle jerk is. And San and Vasily can just be models for the organization, so it kind of works out.
I just think Vasily and San are very similar in like their play style and what they're were really well known for, and I think Vasily like OMG they just need to get a cook out of the kitchen, and that's Uzi. Like they already had a system that worked with Lovelingo going at cool. They need to go back to that, and they just need a guy who's self-sufficient, will do his thing. If that's San, if it's Vasily, I think it'll work. Uzi, he would do wonders with the greatest support system in the world, Dandy and Mata. That would be the team for him.
I would also like an OMG situation where OMG got like a world-class Korean support, and then Loveling tried support again.
I could also see
Or
like
Korean juggler, sorry.
UCI because he is like a shot caller type, like arguing with Mata.
They don't speak the same language, it'd be fine. Mata would be like, whatever, take the lantern or don't take it. Take it or die.
God, I think the difficulty with this question comes with whenever I think, oh man, what's a really good player that I want to see on a roster? And it's like, it's always a Korean player. And I was like, well, where can I put him? And then you realize every team just has 2 Koreans. And so I'm like, okay. What team doesn't have 2 Koreans currently sitting in the roster? Is it-
Just
King and
RNG.
OMG.
OMG
Just
as well.
RNG and
Oh,
OMG,
and
yeah.
okay.
Well, all the old King RNG.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
very
that-
confusing. Since I
Yeah.
did a 20-minute video on it, that helped a lot. So.
I guess I would just like to see Ray on RNG. That would be amazing. That would be good. I'd be happy with that. That would be a good day's work right there.
Raz is like, how can I out hipster everyone? I know.
It's not.
It's not even that hipster.
It's like.
It would be
I don't
like
know.
really weird if you took like soda. Let's put soda on a team.
That guy is really good. Stop
He is-
trash
he is
talking
good.
soda. Okay, Drexen.
That would be a more hipster thing to say.
Mm.
Are you moving Hatong to World Elite
No.
to complete the trifecta?
No, the issue I'm having is the fucking 2 Korean limit.
Yeah.
Because I really want to move like a Korean jungler to LGD really badly.
Alright.
Aimee.
But-
Iami is
Oh.
really good.
That's a good one. I
Yeah,
love
that was
I
my
mean, it could be
number
good.
4.
He's not a very calculated player, but
He has PYL to do the calculated stuff. for him.
Exactly.
Have you
It's like,
seen
it
the
doesn't have to be
pictures
a
of PYL after his jaw surgery?
I think that's actually like a shopped photo of Chroma. It
looks
occurred to me.
a little suspicious, but either way,
Yeah.
PYL is getting jaw surgery. I'm
Yeah,
really
so
curious to see what he looks like.
That's something. So PYL actually might not play the first week. I'm not sure if that's like, but he'll be there for sure the second week. But he might not play the first week because he's having plastic surgery to fix his underbite.
I
yeah,
love his little jaw and his
See?
braces, and he's got like the cutest facial expression.
same.
Yeah.
When he was yelling for a shot clock, I love that shit.
It's gonna be missed.
Yeah. Actually,
feel
now
like-
that I think about it, avoidless on LMQ,
This guy.
LGG.
Drexen?
I love avoidless, man.
Awesome.
I really
Awesome.
love him.
Going
Also
for
think-
the LNL to LSPL player.
No,
Let's
no,
go.
Drexen.
I think XQ needs to come back to LPL.
Yeah.
So we could throw him on Vici or something. I don't know.
That'd be
Just
good.
throw him somewhere. I think that'd actually work out pretty well, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's already laned with a god support, so
He laned with the Chinese Mata. He may get the real thing this time.
exactly. There you go. Otherwise, no. I really just want a fucking god tier jungler in LGD. Like, I really do. I mean, TVQ's gotten better,
Mhm.
but
But again, the stupid Cinder Hulk meta. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
if
I know,
you're
exactly.
just
It's like-
first you're dipper.
it's like if your team gets ahead, just win because you get Cinder Hulk first, and it's such a huge advantage. So
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Okay. Did we have anything else? I don't have the list in front of me and I can't look at it. Did I put anything else on the list?
Hold on, I'll go check for you.
Raz got to talk about his LSPL teams, yeah?
Yeah. Well, Showtime. Hey, Showtime's in. Well,
Oh,
should we talk
yeah.
about the 4 teams that actually
Showtime.
went in there? Maybe.
There was also the top rush changes that actually did happen.
Isn't
almost
like
through-
the last team that qualified in the promotion not making it, so there are like 15 teams in LSPL this split, which I don't understand how that's gonna work.
I don't get it. It has to be purchased. I'm like, it has to be like that slot.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, why wouldn't they buy it unless it's just like too like they said they ran out of time to sell it, and no
Oh,
one took
really?
it wanted and no one wanted it for the price that they were giving. So
just give it for free, man.
Yeah.
That's really awkward, honestly.
How about
It's
that roar
so
team?
weird.
Free
That roar-
LSPL spot. All you gotta do
Go.
is buy it.
Eh?
no, well, I mean, I think the problem is that the window closed and they can no longer sell
Since
it or
when
something.
have windows or time frames meant anything to Chinese
They can
businessmen?
they can do it, but they can only start playing in week 9.
What?
Wow. And
Get
then
outta
your
here with
jungler has to jump out of a second-story window. And then everyone on Reddit will be like, it's his fault he was finally exposed for being weak.
Oh my god.
And then we've come full circle.
Okay, this is good.
And then Chaox will be sitting there and be like, I truly was the North American Name.
Oh my. If I ever hear these words. Like,
He's still Chinese though.
That joke had so many layers to it.
Yeah.
I'm done. We're good.
the
What was-
second. It was the sequel.
Oh,
to
we
it
haven't
sucked.
talked about the promo video yet.
Oh.
The most important thing.
Yeah, someone should just link that in Twitch chat because it's just god
If
tier.
you guys
I mean, if
haven't
people haven't
seen it,
seen
we've
it.
been tweeting it about probably for the last 2 days. It's the new LPL promo video, and it is to the Ninja Turtles theme song. The new one, like the Wiz, I don't know,
Yeah.
rap crazy
Khalifa.
song. Yeah.
All of last night I've been like spamming it for whatever reason. I have, and it's hilarious.
Knock
about to get
knock,
shell-shocked.
you about to get shell shocked. And it opens with like this badass of like Clear Love coming over the corner or coming up the hill, and then it's got Spirit and he's got his hood, and then Vasili's like flipping a quarter or something. I have no idea what he's doing.
He's flipping a quarter between his forefinger and
It's
thumb.
like some gangster pop.
It really is. It's like
And
the most
it's the
thuggish
Ninja Turtles
video of
theme
all time.
song. Just
Yeah.
the best
Yep.
part about it.
Because the Chinese do not care.
They didn't even
They
edit out.
do not
like,
care.
They didn't even edit out the very like obvious Ninja Turtle references, like Shredder, like Turtle Shell, like obviously Shell Shock, I suppose. Like they didn't give a fuck. They're like, no, we're throwing this in there. It doesn't matter.
And I like how MLXG is still wearing his king jacket.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's
Yeah.
like it's represented like the most popular representatives from the teams that were in playoffs last split.
So the most popular players of the top 8 teams.
Yes.
Confirmed, Spirit is the most famous player in the world.
Spirit, yeah, people really love Spirit.
I mean, what's
He's just
not
a
to
chill
love?
guy.
Otherwise known as Sprite.
Sprite.
Right. My favorite player is Zero, so I'm happy that he didn't, didn't-
Disappear.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Do we have anything else that we want to talk about?
I guess the only other thing that's kind of relevant is Save going to an LSPL team.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, remember that guy who got to play mid lane for a game?
And 2 top lane gangs.
Yeah,
games, I
come
think.
on.
Oh, this is
This
right.
is gonna be good for him. I think that team's gonna be better off this. Like, they
The
might.
LSPL
Man, I
guy
think
is
this
like, this is
LSPL
gonna be
team is
so
gonna-
good.
I think
Well-
that LSPL team will be better off with Save on the team, but that's just a
I mean-
guess. Like, I'm no expert or anything, but that sounds like a pretty good deal.
I mean, they had Fly and Profit. They had Koreans anyways. I mean, Save obviously.
What?
is a big
That's not
name.
the same thing, dude.
I get it.
The thing is that like Fly is another like serviceable, like he's pretty skilled, but he's not gonna be a playmaker or hard carry. And then like 2S I think is actually okay, but like I don't know. And then you have Illusion.
All right.
Is Illusion.
I love Illusion.
What random fight will he start next? You never know.
But
And-
they really needed like a carry playmaker, and I think so. This is like Save coming into his saveness.
yeah.
Yeah.
Something I've noticed about these
I think,
teams.
Save, I think Save is the best player versus like bench duration ratio that's ever existed in League of Legends.
The greatest player sitting on the bench. We've
For the longest
time.
time.
It used to be a statistic
I think
for
that's
like bench per skill.
Yeah,
So-
we need like a graph that like goes diagonal.
Starhorn Royal Club is gonna have like Gamtee's coach, I think Assassin and Tail. I don't know what the rest is gonna be. But
That's the true, like, sad thing about that big roster swap is that Tail lost a home. It's like,
And
it's like
Assassin.
XQ or losing his spot to Imp. Like, you understand, you can see
I don't
why it
understand why
happened,
no one thought Assassin was good.
But poor little Tail, he deserved a good team. He deserved a home.
Yeah.
He improved
Assassin,
so
I
much
love.
from LSPL. Like, oh
He
my
did.
god.
Like, he was great. The biggest thing I've always been frustrated about him, just the team as a whole, is that he just stopped roaming as much as he used to. And it was like,
Yeah.
alright.
But he was
I
like
love
the
it.
hard
Stuff.
carry on the games that they won. So
Yeah.
Can I explain to you what was said to me when I got to meet Assassin? Have
Oh.
I told you this story?
You have
No.
not.
Okay, so I got to meet King at G League, and they go, what did he say?
How do you not tell me this?
I got to meet King at G League, and I also got to meet EDG at G League.
I
and
have
got
a
to meet
picture
King.
of her with like the King roster, yeah.
Because no one was talking to them. Like, EDG came out onto the stage, and, like, all of the fangirls rushed them, and poor little King, they're like, okay, I guess we're just ejected second place. So they went in the stands, and they just sat on their cell phones. So I walked up to their coach, I was like, can I get
Oh
a
my
picture
God.
with them? And he's like, come here! And he got them all to line up. But Assassin he goes, hello, they call me Ass King.
Very nice.
Oh, I love that.
So there you go. Nice guy. Took a picture with them. Chelsea has it.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I need to see that picture. I'm honest.
It's pretty excellent because they all look super awkward, and then I look even more awkward because I'm just like standing up for the side. 'Cause I'm like, okay, is that all? Are we on to shoutouts?
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Okay, I have a really important announcement.
Uh
Uh-oh. And Drexen and Raz have no idea what I'm about to say, and it's so I can get their like full reaction. This is my last China Talk episode.
oh. Ooh.
Okay, I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, Drexen's like, yeah, I see this. So I will be replaced. China Talk will continue on without me, but my replacement is going to be League of Emily. And if you've never heard of League of Emily, you need to go follow her right now. She's a fantastic writer. She does a ton of stuff for Brazil, is what she's really well known for. But she has fantastic historic knowledge about Korea, and she has really up-to-date and very researched opinions on China. She works for LOL Esports. She's a great writer. She does most of their Chinese pieces for them, but she's like a great flex, and I know that she'll fit perfectly in the China Talk lineup.
You guys look so like you're depressed. You're like no more Froskurinn.
Like, here's the
sad.
thing.
Well, it sucks,
that
but I
no
kind of
one-
saw it coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it coming. It's one of those
Bigger and
things
better
that
things,
people.
man.
Yeah, people will never. I don't know. I don't think people will never truly understand this. Frosk is the most. No, I won't say the most. I said that about Pun. Anyways.
Oh man, this is already just really charming.
I'm the best mid laner in the world.
She's
This is
the
the
best
heartfelt.
mid laner in the world.
But she is
You
like
guys
one of
just
the
know
most.
this, but damn.
She's one of the most amazing people I've ever met. Like, honestly, like, initially hearing about her, like, I was a bit scared by her personality. A little bit scared, a little bit. Because she's, like, a very outgoing person. Like, very outgoing. And, like, you meet her, she's lovely. A, B, she's beautiful. C, she's smart. Like,
This
like
guy is
there's
like writing me like an obituary.
So, honestly, people, come on now. She, like, I don't know.
That she'll no longer exist on the internet.
Yeah, I'm,
She's-
I'm
she's
never gonna
done.
talk to you ever again, Rose.
She's done. Once you're off of China Talk, you're donezo.
I mean, we know what happened to Hubo, right?
Oh gosh.
Oh wait, actual wait.
Okay.
Wait, you're gonna coach St. Vicious?
I'm leaving to coach St. Vicious.
In
No,
his
she's
new
okay.
vocation, whatever that may be.
That's right, he retired. That was sad.
All right,
Okay.
tired.
Any other shoutouts? That was my big thing, is that
So,
League of
yeah.
Emily. Go follow Emily. It's at League of Emily on Twitter. She's great. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's going to be. She's not going to be the host. It's either going to be me or Raz host, probably.
Hmm.
But the reason we brought her on is because it's not like she knows a lot more about Korea than I think. Well, yeah, I don't know. She loves Korea. Korea is like her home, and we don't really have like a career representative. And she started watching a lot of China recently, so I thought she'd be a good addition. So,
And the two are like the same thing now, so it kind of works out.
yeah, exactly.
And she's also just really smart, and she has like very specific and individual ways about how she looks at certain things. Like, I think her opinion is a unique perspective and a very valuable perspective.
Yeah,
I
we
think-
disagree on a lot of stuff, but she's really smart about it. So
Yeah.
it'll add more diversity to our opinions as well. And yeah, so it'll be interesting because the show will still be only 25% people who care about Korea, but we'll have 40% Koreans in LPL. So there's still an imbalance, obviously. No, I still care about Koreans.
Okay.
She like looks away. She's like, this
Into the
Looks out
sunset.
the
I
window.
still care about you, Korea. You didn't win MSI, but you're still number one in my heart. Okay. Drex and Raz, shoutouts?
oh yeah. Also, shout out for Frost. She does really cool graphics. So, if you want to give her money, she'll do graphics and they'll be good.
Yeah, if you
And
want to
then-
give me money.
And then
Unless-
additionally,
Your name is Kelsey or Draven. Do Raven.
Draven, I was like,
Okay, Nilu comes to me, he's like,
No.
I need a hawk. And I want this hawk to be on fire. And then Victor decides, I'm like, what?
oh, and additionally, I'm hiring content creators. So if you go to Esports Careers, you can find ESH hiring people.
That was like
So,
the worst promo I've ever
if you
seen.
wanna write
If you guys
stuff,
want to
you
work
can.
in
Go work for
esports,
Mike. He's still like.
It's like a I don't know. It's like the good with the bad because it's like, all right, sweet. I'm gonna bring people in. I'm gonna like teach them how to write good, and then
Write
then I
good.
just
I'm gonna
th-
teach
yeah,
you how to write
That was
good.
intentional, okay? It's the irony, all right. But I've been getting really, really, really bad emails of people that like barely know any
Like
English.
zero
and it's
reading.
yeah, it's really bad. So I hope the people that have applied aren't watching the show. And if you are, I'm sorry. But some of them are really fucking bad. I'm sorry. But yeah.
And apparently, if you work for Esports Heaven, you can start fights with me on Twitter. That's always a positive plus for working for Esports Heaven.
You can. You can also just go to Daily Dot for a raise. That's always an option too.
just This
Yeah,
all-
I think for
The opportunities I present are endless. Like
no,
really.
you know what's awesome? Like, we have historic context. Kelsey started working for Drexen originally.
So
I taste a little bit of salt. This guy.
he's a really great person to work for though. Like
It is.
legit, the Gosu Gamers chat was one of my favorite chats ever. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that was such
Except
a
for
good
a
chat.
couple of people who know that or who they were. Everyone else is
But
really
for a
cool, though.
while, for a while. I was like, yeah, it was really good. So
Okay, so Esports Evan, looking for jobs. Kelsey, do you have anything?
I wrote an article about Mako that apparently Mike was going to write about an article about Mako. It's
I
on.
was actually halfway done on the weekend, and then I went out on the weekend, and I'm like, well, this seems pretty safe. And I came back, and I was like, oh, it's published on the score now. Okay.
It's on the Score Esports. You can still write it. It can be a competing Mako.
Dude, no. I'm not
Especially since it's Score policy not to self-post to Reddit, so you can go to good stuff.
What the fuck was that, Rez?
I was like butting heads, but I don't have two heads. So.
I'm like
He's
wiki and
He's
snake.
just fist bumping himself.
He's all
And
like,
I'll be coming
buff.
out with a
Shell shock.
preview.
You guys are the worst at shoutouts ever. Raz, what is your shoutout?
dude, I'm so out of it today. I'm just like, yeah, man.
Yeah,
Fire.
this is
Trying to
cool.
experiment.
That's
Doing
awesome.
Shout
my
out
first
to
roleplay.
Shout out to the Chiefs, Australian. Aussie. Yeah, OPL's coming up this.
Oh my god, OPL is coming up? Man, I wonder what else is starting really soon. Let's talk about the OPL timeline.
LPL starting May 22nd.
Thank you, Kelsey. And where can you find LPL in English?
Twitch.tv/Riot Games 2.
Thank you. Oh my god.
And if you ever don't want to watch that, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's on at different times. It's on at different times. But if you're ever,
Also,
if you're,
visit the LPL in obituary.
by the way, this is how
$7.
I started watching OPL. If you ever have a horrible sleeping schedule because of the LPL, you find yourself like just awake at 3 a.m. in the morning. Like, what the hell happened to your life? Well, guess what? Your League of Legends is on at the same time, and it's Australians.
It's also how you started watching LSPL, by the way.
It's true.
Okay, I think we're good. Are we good?
This is
Yeah, we're
the
good.
longest
Although-
shout-out session ever.
Although I just
that
want to
should-
know why Rez even started watching LSPL. Oh, well.
Oh no, that's a story for another time. With the same reason, honestly, which is just like I'm awake. You know what's going on here?
Okay, guys, everyone wave one final time.
Bye-bye.
Is what he was really well known for. But I actually think that Ninja is going to work well in that dynamic of Team Dragon Knights because he's more of a controlled mage kiting style. Like, it's funny too because Ninja's also really well known for his Jace play. But like, anything that can allow Emperor and Seraph to be hard carries and Ninja just kind of like sit and be serviceable and stable. Because I don't think we'll ever say something like, oh, Ninja's amazing, his 1v1 talent's absurd, he's super great. We'll say he's serviceable. He's safe. You can just leave him in the mid lane.
That's not how Rookie felt.
Okay, so who is Ninja?
Mid laner,
His
sorry for
name
Prime
is-
Optimus.
From
No
Persona.
Gyeonwoo.
Oh, good job.
Yeah.
Okay, so he came over and he replaced Sukkum. So originally when Ninja came to the LPL, it was kind of a controversial move because everyone thought that Sukkum was the better mid laner. I don't think that's arguable.
Nope,
It
he
was,
was definitely
yeah.
the better mid laner.
Yep.
But they wanted jungle synergy between the mid and jungle because they wanted to bring over a Korean jungler.
Good old B.
Yep,
Yeah.
Old B.
Axion. And
Was
then
it was Old B.
Oh.
Old B was the second one, and he only played with
Second.
them for like a single tournament, and then he was sent to WE Future.
And
Mhm.
Mickey
Never
God.
Heard from again.
We had Khan,
Mickey God.
Old B, Axion, Mickey God, and Ninja. Yes, those were the 5 Koreans on rotation for World Elite before they got Spirit.
Well, World Elite Academy had Khan and Mickey God,
Mhm.
and then Axion and Ninja were on World Elite. Yeah.
Had a big experience, obviously not his time on Prime Optimus. What did we think about him?
Yeah, I was a pretty huge Sukkum fan, so I thought that downgrade was pretty noticeable.
What was
But the thing is-
downgrading about him?
Pretty much everything. I mean, he was just kind of I mean, they switched him out for the whole synergy thing, but it didn't even really matter because relative to the other mid and jungle synergy, it was not really that great. I mean, I don't know. I didn't find anything good about Ninja except for his play on a couple of champions, and even that didn't happen until really late into the split. Like, Ninja's peak performance was actually right before he got replaced at IEM, and that's when it started getting confusing because they spent so many weeks building him up when everybody was disappointed in his performance, and then he was where people saw him play like a few casting games and actually carry a couple WE games, and they're like, okay, well, I guess maybe he's decent, and then all of a sudden we got the news about GA. So like, I don't know. It really depends on his performance relative to the majority of the LPL split, or at the very end as to where he stands now.
I think another issue is his champion pool, Raz.
Yeah. His champion pool is the biggest thing. I think it literally revolves around Ezreal, Jace, Kassadin, Anivia.
He played some Cassiopeia games actually too. So I think his
Cho'Gath.
champion, Cho'Gath. I think his champion pool was less relevant when.
Now, how was Ninja's performance? Because obviously he
Technically-
played up until IEM, which right before IEM he got subbed out and everyone saw Xie.
I do want to clarify that Ninja hasn't actually been purchased by the Dragon Knights. He's technically on loan. So,
What?
yeah, he's on loan for the summer only from WE.
Rent a Korean.
Yeah, rent
Yeah, I
to
love it so
Korean.
much.
Like the Chinese now, have purchased all the Koreans, and they're setting up a rent a Korean business.
I was wondering
So-
how they can afford Ninja because they're
Yeah, that's what I was
purchasing-
wondering too. But
And they end up renting.
It wouldn't be as funny if it wasn't true.
So does this mean that they're just
What's-
waiting on
what's
a
happening?
visa with Kyle?
I don't know I don't know anything about Challenger. All I know is that WE posted that he was on loan, and Ninja confirmed it on his Facebook. So
Okay. So they're renting Ninja.
effectively, yes.
Out of all of the Koreans you could have rented.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, he was probably the cheapest per week fee.
Yeah.
I think it's probably that they have connections, is what I would assume, just because he's still going to be absurdly expensive because it is World Elite.
Isn't WE also mentioned sponsored by MSI?
I do not know.
Ooh, that could be. I don't know. I do know that there's connections.
But, okay, as people who have watched Ninja for his split in China and his highest level of we'll hear a ton of crazy stuff. Nothing will ever be confirmed until the very last second. But we're going to talk about what we know for sure has been confirmed, what we think is going to be confirmed, and then what we wish would happen. Is everyone cool with that? Oh, we're also going to have a Ninja section because everyone apparently wants to talk about Ninja finally, even though we've been talking about him for the last 42 episodes of the
And
show.
I thought the most hype move was going to be Dada. Such sadness.
Let's actually open this up. Let's talk about Ninja because I feel like that's kind of where our core, I wanted to say Western audience, actually cares now. It's because he's going to be the mid laner for Team Dragon Knights, which Alexish boosted into the LCS. I'm kidding. Alexish subbed for them. They got up into the LCS. They've looked really good in the Challenger scene. I know that I follow the North American Challenger scene. I don't know if you guys follow them. Anything?
She
I do.
follows the North American Challenger scene more than the North American LCS.
This is actually accurate.
Yeah, it is actually.
You want to know about Challenger players? I can tell you some shit about Challenger players. You want to know about the LCS, TSM? I don't know who they are.
I follow at North American Challenger, not collegiate though. I don't go.
You haven't gone this far down the rung. So he's going to be the starting mid laner for Team Dragon Knights. Team Dragon Knights are considered kind of the top tier challenger team. They're very dominant. They're very oppressive in their style. Seraph is like a really carry top oriented playstyle. So when I heard that Ninja was going to be their mid laner, before it was, I can never say the mid laner's name correctly. I'm just going to shorten it to Kyle. But he was a Jace mid live, so just so everyone's aware. Someone make the tweet though that says that Razzle finally got here. We were finally able to start. Could someone do that for me?
All right, cool. I think we have it on the official channel, so I'll just retweet that.
Okay, perfect. We're live. We're live. We made it. Are we actually on episode 43?
I think so.
We actually made it to episode 43.
Wow, we're almost up to 50. That's depressing.
That's
When do we
absurd.
start the next season?
That's upsetting.
We've done 43 episodes of this. Thank you guys so much for sitting through 42 of them. I promise this one will be good. I'm joined on the panel with Kelsey
Bold.
Moser. Bold. The score, Drexen, Esports Heaven, Razzleplasm. Raz, how do you ever want me to introduce you? Do you want me to just say the teams that you work for or anything like that?
Just say analyst for the Chiefs, I suppose.
Analyst for the Oceanic team, the Chiefs. The best
And the
Oceanic team.
And the LSPL junkie.
And the analyst Field Junkie. I'm Froskurinn, I'm your host, and we have a very special episode of China Talk. Now, what makes this episode so special? Well, you will find out later. But first, we're going to talk about rosters. So, obviously, we're in the off-season. We just had our MSI episode. I believe Emily subbed in for me, which, thank you, she does a fantastic job every single time. Kelsey, I had your camera perfect. Stop messing with it. Continuing. We have the MSI victory of EDG, and now we're in this off-season period where the roster rumors are running crazy. Now, the most important thing to recognize with Chinese roster rumors is that they're never true. They're almost never true. You